I say it regularly, but I get to go into people's homes and I get to see their room, and you can walk in a room and kind of learn a little about them. I tell you, I could probably fall asleep and go to another world in this room we're in. And I don't mean fall asleep because it's boring. But this gentleman I've known for quite a few years, Roel Bus.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me in your home. I made it.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Mother Nature, I think, was trying to prevent this interview from happening. But I come in, and we'll show. I'll take some video and show the room. But this is Davis and John Coltrane was playing when I walked in. Like, I literally walked through and I was like, into another world. Where's all this music coming from for you?
I've always loved music. I think it came from my dad partly, and his brother as well. Like, his brother actually taught music in school. So I'm from Holland originally.
Yep.
And
what part?
So I was born in Hilversum, which is actually the TV radio city. That's where Holland's such a small country that that's the only place where there's studios.
Right, okay.
So if you are into television or radio, then you have to go to Hilversum.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that.
That's where, I mean, at least it was back then. I've been gone for 34 years, it'll be this year.
Wow.
So, but I don't think it has changed much because it's like the size of Holland is about southwestern Ontario. Like,
yeah. I haven't been there, but my wife's family is Dutch, and she keeps saying we got to go, so we're planning that.
Oh yeah, it's I love it. I will go back. I try to go back quite a bit, quite often.
You still have family over there? Or?
My brother's still there. I just lost my dad about just over a year ago.
Okay, sorry.
And then and my mom's been gone for about 13 now.
What did your mom and dad do? What
My dad was a graphic artist. He, I mean, he is an artist. He's very good. I got some books by him too
nice.
of his artwork. So started doing some drawing and wanted to make a career out of it, and through some different pathways, basically he did. But yeah, so the graphic artist, ended up working at a print shop in Holland, close by our home, and yeah, did a lot of artwork, design, that kind of thing, a lot of advertising. Like, he would come up with logos and stuff like that. So.
Well, I mean, we look at graphic artists and branding and stuff now. I mean, that's all digital and everything, but back then that was still a thing. You had to design your logos, etc.
I think even digitally, like, you still kind of have to know what you're doing, even though, like, I mean, I guess AI and all that. Yeah. There's lots of help now digitally. That's true.
And what about Mom?
Mom was mom and a homemaker. She did work a little bit. After we were born, tried to get a job here and there, but didn't really work out. So she basically pursued her hobbies. She was loved bird watching, bird counting. So she spent a lot of time.
Bird counting. I just saw something. I don't know if they had the kids out in the park in Sarnia or something. Bird counting, and I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's I guess it's part of the research, part of the scientific research.
Okay.
They kind of want to, and they do it periodically. Like, my mom would go out, I want to say almost like every Saturday. It might not have been every Saturday, but it felt like,
regularly,
definitely once a month.
Okay.
On a Saturday morning, really early, and then go to, like, Holland's has a lot of water. I mean, half of the country is below sea level, and then they would go to these different, the same place every time, but. And then they would count the waterfowl on it, what it was and how many, and then compare it from month to month or year to year, and see what I think that's why they do that. So yeah, she was really into that.
Did you go with her?
I went with her a couple times. Yeah, we were part of a youth bird watching group.
Okay, all right.
As well, yeah.
I have a cliche question. Everybody who watches regularly knows that I'm going to ask. What was school like? What was? Did you like school?
I did, actually. I went to, so Holland has a different school system.
Okay.
So elementary school is basically like here. It's regional. But it's only up to grade 6.
Oh.
And again, this is when I went to school. I think
just a
some of that has, I think it has changed since then. But when I went to school, there was and it was mostly a Catholic village that I grew up
All
in.
right.
I grew up in a small village. Like I was born in Hilversum, but I didn't grow up there. I grew up in a village called Hooglandeveen
All right.
near Amersfoort, which is in the center, dead center of the country. And so the first 6 years, elementary school, and then high school was in Amersfoort, so we had to get on our bikes, and it's kind of one of those
Uphill
parents'
both ways.
story. Yeah, no hills in Holland,
That's okay,
but
yeah, right,
you know,
but-
any kind of weather.
Right.
I told my kids, and this is actually true. I mean, I didn't just say that to you know, to make them walk or make them you know, get to school on their own. But I was never driven to school,
Yeah.
not one time.
Wow.
So now my elementary school was kind of like here. We were in Brights Grove, so it's
Yeah.
Brights Grove Public School. Kids
Just
were
up
there
the
about a
street.
kilometer. So that's about what our school was as well.
Okay.
So we walked
It's
every
not
day.
horrible.
No. Oh, it was fine. Yeah, we
You
walked
planned
every
your
day.
time, you know, you
Yeah,
had to leave by a certain time to make sure you got on time.
yeah. And then high school is actually in Holland. It was based on levels. So you had the technical school that was 4 years after
Oh,
the six grades of elementary school, and then there was 3 different academic levels: 4 years, 5 years, and 6 years. And then
Oh,
6 years
interesting.
was kind of like the highest academic level. After that, you would generally go to university, and the people that go to technical schools, they you know, get apprenticeships and or the
so
equivalent of that.
which
and
one were you?
the 6 year, I was I liked school. I was really good at it in elementary school. I was top of the class usually, and
Yeah.
and then
Is that why
reality
is
set
that?
in.
Like, were you? And I know it's hard to talk about yourself, but like, were you
Yeah.
just a smart kid, or did you just? You think it's because you enjoyed it? So what was it? Most kids don't like going to school. So what was different about you?
Well, something that I think I've discovered over the years is that a lot of things come easy. Like, well, I shouldn't say a lot of things. Things come easy to me. Certain
Okay.
things come easy to me.
Yeah.
Like in public school, a lot of things is like homework. I did almost on the way home, or like in, you know, we also went home for
You're the guy
For
I
lunch.
didn't like in school.
at that level anyway.
yeah. No, it
But I
comes easy
also
that
found
way.
that over time, that if I have to actually work for it, it's harder for me.
Yeah.
Like I noticed my grades were slipping, you know, through high school. Like the last couple of years of high school, I certainly wasn't at the top of the class anymore. It was
Okay.
like I you know, wanted to just be able to do it, but I didn't really want to learn to do it. You know what I mean?
If it didn't come
If it
naturally, you
didn't-
didn't want it.
Kind of.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like
You got
know,
spoiled.
I guess so, and maybe that's kind of the downfall of when things come easy to you in the beginning.
Yeah, I think
You
so.
don't really learn how to properly study, how to properly learn.
Well,
I mean,
and
obviously
the-
I have.
getting out of your comfort zone
Yeah.
and pushing yourself, all that stuff, right? So, so how did you get through that? You just buckled down, and
Yeah, I
were
well, I
mom
ended
and
up.
dad, like, were they whip crackers? Like, that you could sit down, and, like, as far as sit down and you do it, and
To some degree, yeah, they would. Well, Dad was working a lot. Like he
Mhm.
wasn't around much, and he also. I mean, that's where I get, you know, wanting to go out and be involved with things, because my dad was involved with all kinds of stuff
in the community.
in the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we had. He was part of the beginning of the Carnivals Club. Like, so Carnival was huge in Hooglandeveen. Carnival's like Mardi Gras, more like. Not
Oh,
the,
yeah.
Not the carnival like that comes to town.
Yeah,
and-
not the
it's more like the carnival in Rio,
right.
right? But and then again, different. The south of Holland is huge in that, and then he really wanted to bring it above the rivers, is what they call that. Like Holland's kind of
Right.
separated by
Mhm.
the Rhine, the Maas, like the bigger rivers. Anyway, so he was huge in that, and some other things as well. So he was always busy.
Yeah.
Mum, you know, did
Mum
want
was
to make
the-
sure.
She
Yeah,
raised
she
you?
was. Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, and yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Um,
So getting through school then, and then was there a moment like where you, like, for those who don't know, I mean, you ended up, working for the city and becoming involved in the fire department and our Sarnia Fire Rescue.
quite a leap
So-
here.
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll get to that. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like, what led? Let's go. What was the first thing that you like? Did you know what you wanted to do? Like,
I thought I did. I always wanted to be a teacher until I got to the upper levels, and then I I don't really want to do this.
yeah,
I like teaching. I just don't. I don't know. But I think it's more like when you have a good or a good knowledge of a certain topic, and I think I can relay that to people pretty well.
Yeah.
But like just to be, because when I first grew up, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a teacher, but like an elementary school or high school teacher, something like that. And so I let that go. For a while, it was architect. We actually got time through school. It was kind of funny with a buddy of mine. He wanted to be one too, and they gave us time to like design our office, what we wanted to do.
Right.
But then, because Mom was basically the green thumb, and you know, like I said, bird watching was big, but also gardening and anything nature was really important to her. So I kind of pursued some of that, and that's what I ended up doing. I ended up going to a forestry school.
Right.
And majored in nature conservation, which in Holland's a big deal. If you come here and you say to somebody you study nature conservation, it's like it doesn't really exist. Well, and parking, the parks is one thing, because like we called it landscaping as well, which was more like landscape, not landscape design as in gardening, but landscape, you know, like as in what does it look like, and how do you preserve certain things. But like you have to understand, when Holland, like when it's such a small country, it literally is, like I always said, I likened it to driving from Sarnia to Topomori and then kind of go back towards Toronto and then back again. That's the area.
Right.
So it's like 250 kilometers across and about 400 in length. And there's, well, at the time it was about 13. I think now it's 18 and a half or something million people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
How many? 18 and a half? 18?
About 18 and a half now, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
So like Ontario, the province of Ontario is probably 100 times bigger than Holland, and it has fewer people. Like it has 14 million.
Interesting, right?
15 million. So yeah, and it's very dense. I'd go on these tangents, I guess, but like my dad always said, because he lived exactly 100 steps, so I wouldn't even say 100 meters, because you don't generally take meter steps, but he counted it out like 100 steps from our house is where he worked. So like basically walked the street. And so I stepped that out here, and it's still, after 30 some years, still baffling to me that that you can walk a kilometer and go by a subdivision, essentially. Like, you know, it's all row houses and everything is condensed and smaller, and here you walk a kilometer and you're, you know, it's a couple of houses, and you walk like here by the lake or even in town. Like it's always when you go back and I go for a 5 kilometer walk, it feels like you have to walk to the next city. Right. Because it's all so close. Anyway, so I guess I digress a bit, but nature conservation is a big industry, or a big I guess field. Where you have to, or that field has to fight for the natural aspects of the country, and essentially work together with everybody else. It's not like here, you know, if you want to see nature, like even if it's controlled, you go to Algonquin Park, for instance. You know, Pinery is already a pretty good park here. Or you drive to Algonquin, like you're in the wilderness, like you can go off the highway.
But I want to do that. I hear it's and here in Sarnia, I think we got a couple hundred parks. I think it's 210 or something like that is the number, but that's completely different to what you're talking about. We're talking about parks where we go and play and we sit around. You're talking on a whole different level. And how long did you do that for?
It was a 4-year course, 4-year program. And like I said, took me a little longer because, you know, I had to work for it.
Right.
And plus you go away from home for the first time in that first year. It was like, okay, I can do what I want, and there's nobody telling me what to do.
So did you have some fun, Roel?
I did have some fun, yeah. The first year I was actually in board and lodging because, like I said, Mom took good care of us. I didn't really have to do a lot of cooking, and if you're not made to do that as a kid, then you're certainly not going to volunteer yourself often. Right?
My wife is Dutch, as I mentioned, and she does all the cooking. I'm not allowed to cook, but that's because I burn water. But it's true though. That's a skill, right? That if you don't learn it when you're a kid,
I mean, you have to learn it. That there was just a decision, Mom. You know, my parents are kind of looking at things, and we did it all together. I don't remember exactly how it all went, but I ended up living with this lady who had a room for students in a little village near Arnhem. So I studied in Arnhem. No, I lived in Arnhem and I studied in Velp, which was, anyway, it's near Arnhem. Bridge too far.
Right.
It's Arnhem,
Oh, yeah,
Arnhem,
right.
Nijmegen, so it's in that in that area. And yeah, so she cooked every day, but it was almost like, you know, she said, well, you need to let me know if you're not coming home and that kind of thing, you know. So
Yeah.
after a while, I was like, okay, it's time to break from that.
I don't want to tell anybody anything.
Yeah. Anyway, so but it was 4-year program and lots of different aspects to it because you're dealing we had to do like what do you call that, like cultural engineering,
Yeah.
Parks and Rec type, you know, type things. Like we didn't know how to create recreational spaces, and also agriculture. Like there was actually after the first year, at the end of the first year, we did a co-op at a farmer. I think it was 8 weeks, I believe. 6,
Okay.
8. I think it was 8 weeks that we were basically working for this farmer.
Oh, wow.
And the school kind of arranged it all, and well, you had to look for it yourself, but then they did everything. But essentially, yeah, you were their employee for that 8 weeks.
Right.
Which I hated, by the way. I knew that's
I was
not
just going
what
to
I was
ask you. I was
do.
going to say, did you enjoy it?
No, not
right?
at all. Not at all. And then maybe it was because of who I was working with, and because it felt after a while that, you know, it wasn't really teaching me anything. It was just like, okay, do this and do that, and like clean up that.
He was
shed.
taking advantage of the labor.
I felt a little bit. Yeah, I felt that a little bit.
And
I remember the very first task he made me do. I mean, you know, get there on a Monday morning, whatever, and after the introductions, by like 9:30, 10 o'clock, I was in this barn. It's for my standards, I guess, pretty big barn, and it was full of junk.
Yeah.
And he just said, you know, like, kind of clean that up. And, you know, it's one of those tasks that you look at, it's like, I'm never getting this finished. I'm
I'm never
finishing
going to
this
get
job.
done.
And
Really?
then,
Where do I start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have to say that probably, and I think that's why I remember it so well, that's probably one of the first times where it's like, you know, take one step at a time. Just start it and take one step at a time, and it doesn't matter what you get done today.
Right.
You know, you get back at it
So
tomorrow.
maybe he
and
was teaching you something.
He might have, yeah, he might have.
So how old are you at this point?
So that was in first year. I was in '88, so I was 21.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then.
So then in third year, and I did really enjoy the program and met lots of good people, and the building actually was in an old what do you call that, seminary.
Okay.
I think it's, so. And again, that building doesn't exist anymore. It was kind of funny because I brought my wife over to Holland and went to show her. And most things I knew, like the school that I went to, elementary school was gone because they demolished it when we were still there, and then we ended up finishing in the new building. My high school, I had no idea. We drove there and it was an empty field. I'm like, I swear to God, I went to school.
Right.
I went to high school. The building was gone, so I didn't know. And then took the kids to the university, and the building is completely changed there too. Like I think that seminary was demolished, and it's all a modern building now, which is too bad. But so it was kind of cool. And then the third year was all practical, like projects for the first 6 months. Each week was a project that you finished, and it could be, you know, we did some drafting, we did some clear cutting, like we took chainsaws to the forest and did some clear cutting, and almost died one day actually. That was, well, I mean, it's a little dramatic, but so it's a group of, I'm trying to think, probably about 20 of us in there. Like it was a little bit chaotic, and I think they let us do it because it was a clear cut. Like every tree had to be cut.
Okay.
But very strict rules, and they were made up, like told to us early on that week, and earlier as well. Like you know, because I don't know if you've ever cut a tree down, but you know, you start cutting, and then you kind of have to look at the top, and it'll tell you when it's ready to go.
Yeah,
right?
it
Like,
will.
So you take the wedge out on the one end, and then you start on the other side, and it starts to turn a little bit. So whenever that happened, you have to pay attention to it. You have to warn everybody else in that area, and then where you were supposed to be falling, and everybody like obviously had to leave. Well, this one guy, and he's cutting away, and this thing's turning, and all of a sudden he said, "Whoa, whoa!" You could hear him screaming, and I looked at this tree, and it was supposed to go about 45 degrees away from me, and it did a full turn, well, a 45-degree turn, and it came right for me. So I dropped my saw, and I started running, and the tree fell on my saw. Like it fell exactly where.
Just like in a movie or a cartoon, just right there.
Like it went the back of the, like we had these steel, I don't know if I can say brand names. You can bleep it out.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We had steel and Husqvarnas, like they were good saws. But it was funny because it went, and the back of it was the filter that was basically clicked on. It flew, so I knew it hit the saw.
Right.
And
so how did you react?
Oh, I start yelling at him. He's laughing because he sees me running, and I'm like,
well, he probably saw you were okay.
Well, afterwards, yeah. Anyway, we were fine. Like it was, it's a bit of a scare, but
I can totally relate. My dad way back lived on Lakeshore Murphy, and anyway, short story. They had 10 oak trees in the yard, and they wanted them all cut down. And so my dad did, and one time we right at Lakeshore Murphy, and we had a van, and he tied a rope. He climbed up the tree and put a rope around the tree, and then he tied the rope to the bumper of the van. and it was solid, but I don't know, I was 14 or 15 years old, and he said, "Okay, David, when I tell you to go, you go." So I'm pulling, I'm directing it basically because of the rope. And we had, I don't know, my buddy was out blocking the road. Because where we were, it was like I didn't have far to go, and I was on the road, so we had people block. Anyway, I remember pulling that thing, and just, it came down, and it crashed down. It didn't. I thought, well, it's going to be on the road, but no, he figured it all out. But I thought I was in this death vehicle that I'm just, this tree's going to just come right down on top of me. But it didn't. It worked out, but it fell, and you could hear it. And it's really. To see a big tree like that fall for the first time, it's kind of an experience.
It is,
whether it was scary like that or not. Like to see that happen, the accuracy that's involved in doing that.
Yeah. Well, and that's and again, if we're on that topic, like usually the when they do these competitions, I don't know if you've ever seen that, when they cut trees down and they actually put a little post, I don't know, maybe 20 feet up or something like that. And you have to hit it. Like the further away it is, the harder it is to hit it. But usually the Dutch cutters are pretty good at this, because they have to, like, generally it's not a clear cut what they do, and because there's not that many forests, if there's a tree that has to go, they generally have to be pretty good at knowing where it's going to fall and not damage all the other trees, right?
Yeah. Oh, right. I suppose.
So, But yeah, we didn't have to worry about that there. But yeah,
I just remember when all the trees were down, it was like my dad handed me a chainsaw and said, "Here, cut that all up," and we just went wild. We didn't have any.
Oh, I know.
Surprised I still have all my limbs, but
yeah.
So you get through all of that, you finish that, and then you graduate from this, and then what happened next?
Actually, it's this coming here happened before I graduated, because the second 6 months we had to do 2 co-ops, and one had to be done in Holland, and the other one they actually encouraged you to do somewhere else.
Right.
And so they had this this address, like I think at least one person went there the year before I did, and I think there might have been a few others previous years too. So this was a place that they knew about. So it was PNFI, or Petawawa National Forestry Institute, in it's actually in Chalk River.
All right.
Doesn't really exist anymore. Like we've actually drove up there. There's still a sign there, and I think one of the buildings there, but most of it's gone now. Okay. Again, because I was there, I think.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so that was in '91. I started in April. Nervous as heck, the day before, because I wasn't really in communication with them. they were under the understanding, like, okay, this is arranged and we're going to be done. And I was like, I never heard from them. Like, is this still on? Is this still a thing? And the week before, it's almost like you're so nervous. Like, I almost hope that it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of comfort zone, it's
I'll
like,
do something else.
yeah, but yeah, no, they treat. But and then of course, when you're doing all this planning, I wasn't looking at exactly when I was coming. I think it was a Thursday. I arrived on a Thursday before Easter.
Okay.
So everything was closed. Everybody was gone. So they had arranged to be picked up from the bus station. So the other thing was I flew to Montreal, which is quite a ways from Chalk River, and I had to take another bus and everything. Anyway, it was a very long day. But the guy was there, he picked me up, and he brought me into Algonquin Park. So it was actually one of the first places I went.
Oh yeah.
Because he had a sugar bush there. So this was April 12th is when I arrived. So right in the thick of maple season. And he did it the old-fashioned way. It was near, it was a place called Acre in Algonquin Park. So you actually go in, it's not the corridor that Highway 60 that kind of goes through the bottom where most people go to.
Oh, okay.
You go from the east side, you go in, and it's basically almost right away a dirt road, and it's quite a ways in. And then there's like it's an old hotel, and we had the whole thing, and then Acre was kind of like
it's still there?
A camp. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We haven't. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
We did go there with the kids too at some point. So yeah, he had big cauldrons on the fire, and all the pails were on spiles. Just individually in each tree. He tapped them, and that was all done before I got there. But we did need to go collect, the pails, and then boiled it down mostly outside, and then finished it on the stove inside.
Yeah,
and,
I remember around here going in public school, like grade 2 or 3, and they would put you on a bus and take you up to the sugar bushes.
Yeah,
I think it was like Alvinston way.
Alvinston has one, yeah.
Right, and I just remember going because, they got told how it all worked and everything, and we got to tap a tree maybe or something, and then we had all the maple syrup cookies or whatever that were made and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because he was a teacher actually at Pembroke College.
Okay.
Or Algonquin College in Pembroke, and he had invited his class to come out there for the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Nobody came.
Oh.
So it was his family and me.
All right.
And so most of his family left on the Monday, I think, or some of them would have to go back to work, I guess. But it was I do remember. I think it was only him and me finishing this off on the Monday, and then he would drive me to the Institute on Tuesday when people would be
Did his
coming back to
students
work.
get a tongue lashing the next day?
I have no idea, but basically what happened was there was quite a bit of syrup, and he had like these 2-liter pop bottles, and he said, I said, well, you did, a lot of the work, or half the work, so you get half. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. It's like, but not knowing back then it was liquid gold, right? Like this stuff is
it
was great.
Sell it.
So I did bring, I don't know if it was 2 bottles, maybe just the one, and he just took the rest, and I don't know if he sold, I don't know, but yeah, it was a great experience. And
almost maybe them not showing up, maybe you got a little more one-on-one time.
Yeah,
to learn a little bit more.
We got pretty close even on that weekend. Like it was tough for me to see him go because of course I'm 22 years old at this point, and green,
don't know anybody,
don't know anybody, anything. Culturally it's different enough, right? Like
sure,
but
going to another country and
so. I remember when he left, it was like, okay, it's almost like starting new all over again 4 days later. But it was a great experience. And then, and then I ended up working together with the woman who is now my wife.
Well, I'm glad you went into that. Connect the dots there. Because I met Carolyn a long time ago, like probably in the 90s, I think.
That's right, yeah.
And she worked for a real estate company at the time.
Yep, so I was already here then.
Okay, all right.
That was a Countrywide?
Yeah, that's right. I
Countrywide,
couldn't think of what it's called.
With Al Orlando.
That's where I first met her. Yeah,
okay.
right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that was a little bit after that so this was in 91. So I got there April, Carolyn got there, I think it was the beginning of May. and then yeah, we started working together, and one thing led to another.
Working at Countrywide?
At this Petawawa National Forest.
So
okay. Carolyn actually studied human physiology.
All right.
At Western, and back then, you could still get a decent summer job that would basically pay for the next year. So her summer job was at the same place at PNFI.
Okay, gotcha.
So she, instead of human physiology, she got a job in tree physiology. She always said so.
So it's just all kind of, you didn't know what you were going to do next. It just started falling into place because you met her and
met her and things got pretty serious pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so when I left, we kept in touch and wrote lots of letters.
Yeah.
Phone calls, like back then. This is in '91.
Yeah, so right. Yeah, we didn't really. Well, cell phones sort of showed up. But we didn't have what we have now.
Oh no,
for sure. No FaceTime or.
I think we got our first cell phone in 2005.
Yeah. Oh yeah, is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. I remember having the phone calls because then I went back to the same place that I kept my room because I loved the people there. It was kind of maybe stupid because I had to pay some for it, but anyway. But I remember having a one phone in the whole house with 4 people, and you kind of could hear the ticks. Like every time a tick was that's the way it worked. Like in Holland, there's no such thing as free. Like long distance is like everything. You call your neighbor, you pay.
Oh.
It's just a little bit slower ticks. But every tick's like 15 cent kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So like you call your neighbor, it's generally one tick or whatever.
Yeah.
It just comes on your bill and all that. But yeah, you could hear that. So when I called Canada, it was like, it was a metronome going tick, tick,
I was going to say tick, 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 right. Get your wallet out.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of big phone bills, and but we wrote letters too. We still have them. Like
I was going to say, do you have the? Do you still keep them?
Yeah, we still have all the letters.
A long distance romance.
Yeah.
And
then,
that's like something you only hear in the movies,
It works.
Yeah.
It works. Yeah.
And so over that course of time, how did you, like really connecting to the point of like, okay, this is long term, and we're going to get married, and we're going to have a family.
So that happened after that. So this, and I stayed for the summer too, but it was between 3rd and 4th year of university, and for Carolyn as well. So when I went back, we both finished our 4th year, and then she came to Europe in June of that year of '91. Actually, sorry, the PNFI was in 1990.
Okay.
Because we finished in '91. She came to Europe in '91, the summer of '91. So stayed at our place and met my parents, and then we had planned a trip. So we actually traveled Europe for 2 months.
Nice.
Almost 2 months. It was about 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did the Scandinavian part first, and then we went back to my parents' house, who weren't at home at the time, to kind of refuel and.
Yeah, what was that like? You're traveling and you're obviously spending time together and sharing that experience together.
Mm-hmm.
But what about money? Like did you just live very minimally and
we kind of did well, and
work town to town, or
I think I've probably kind of paid it back over the years, but a lot of it was Carolyn's money. She'd done a lot of saving and worked.
Yeah.
And always wanted to do a Europe trip.
Right.
So this was
this
was going to happen, whether it was So I mean, a lot of it. We did work some, and it did have some money.
But was this backpacking?
Everything was backpacking.
Yeah.
We did trains, backpacking, campgrounds, which they weren't $80 back then. It was like a couple bucks, and all we had was a tent, and we didn't need anything else. We rented a car once just because we were in Norway, and we were told, like, if you're in this area, you have to do this road. It's called the Golden Route.
Okay.
And so we did. We actually rented a little car and did that. But other than that, we walked everything and
what was I know? Like I was over there. I was in Munich there last year, in Budapest before that, and I just found the transportation system is incredible.
It is,
there.
yeah.
Was it like that then too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And clean for how many people get on those things in a day. It was quite clean, I thought.
Yeah. I know,
maintained.
like Holland is definitely like if from basically anywhere there is a train station, and they
Yeah.
have train stations in very small areas. You could get, like, let's say from there you want to go to Amsterdam, because that's where a lot of people want to go. You can take a train probably within a half an hour that will get you in that direction. You may
Yeah.
have to, transfer or whatever, but
Yeah.
but like where we were in Amersfoort, like you get in Amersfoort and you're in Amsterdam in 20 minutes on a train.
Yeah.
And
planes
it goes like
too.
every
Like
20
you can
minutes.
get on a plane and fly somewhere very reasonably now. I don't
Yeah.
know what it was like then, but and you could to different countries. Like I didn't realize exactly where I was necessarily. I failed geography, but yeah, the trains, trolleys, all the different things like, and quite well organized.
Yep.
Now, I mean, now you have an app on your phone that tells you, but I mean,
Oh yeah,
it was so
We had
organized
maps
and could really just get all over the place.
Yeah. No, all we had
For a
was
fair
that.
price.
Do you remember the Go books, like Go Europe and Go,
Yeah.
and then Go different countries? So I think we had 2 different Europe books that, and it just basically tells you, if you go to Rome,
Where to
do
go.
this, and then tells you how, and campgrounds. It was in there too, like what which ones to avoid and what was a decent
okay.
one and that kind of thing. So yeah, very interesting experience, obviously. But
And
so
then,
we did that together, and so we ended up, decided that we got married, and
How long have you been married? This is a test.
34 years. It'll be
Right.
34 this year.
There's only been one guy I've asked that question to, and he had to kind of go, like, that
Yeah.
should roll off your tongue.
Yeah, I'm actually I do know most of those dates too and
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
Well, you're,
it's
like, my perspective of you, like, we met, I don't know, maybe, I guess it's probably longer than I think, over maybe a little 10 years ago or something.
yeah,
or
something
longer.
like that.
And, through the fire department and everything, but got to know you a little bit. And you talk about in the beginning of the conversation that you didn't like to have to learn it. You just wanted it to come natural. But in conversations I've had with you over the years, you're always talking about something you're learning. Like
that's
you're
true.
often, and even the other day I had to cancel because of the weather, and you were like, yeah, well, it's okay. I'm just going to stay tucked in here and finish reading my book.
Yeah,
What
I did.
what were you reading?
Actually, that was a John Connolly book, which
Okay.
so a friend of mine recommended him as. I mean, you can see we got lots of books, and Michael Connolly is one of my favorites. But so I like to read mysteries and Grisham and that kind of thing, but also some other. And Greg Iles is one of a big one.
All right.
But yeah, John Connolly, I'd never read anything by, so I ended up borrowing it from the library in an ebook. I read ebooks as well, but
Yep.
I still like
Like the
regular
hard-
books. Yeah. It seems to. It took me a long time to read that book. I think partly because of that.
Because it was an ebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have a Kobo, which the Kobo is good. It's a little bit smaller, but I like the fact that it doesn't shine a light in your face.
Yeah, right.
But
I used to have a Kindle.
it's an older
I
one.
think it was called a Kindle.
Kindle, yeah,
And
that's an Amazon one. Yeah.
They did a good job of making it so that the screen sort of felt like a page and stuff. That was
Yeah.
partly by design, but yeah, I still want the
Yeah. Books are
give me the
fun.
hardcover.
Well,
But
I actually finished it, and then I started another one because we ended up not going anywhere yesterday 'cause
Yeah.
with the snow too. And I just thought, if I don't have to, why would we were going to go out for dinner and just
Right.
decided
You can do that
stay
anytime.
tucked in. Yeah, it was with a group, but yeah.
But is that accurate though? What I'm saying, like you said, you like to learn.
I like to learn. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I
Yeah.
do like to learn. I bought a guitar too when I was in
Yeah, I see that.
university. That's my wife's actually, so we have a couple now.
Okay.
And then in the beginning, but that's the thing. In the beginning, before you plateau, which happens fairly quickly,
Yeah.
it goes. It
goes quick.
This is kind of cool, and then these notes, and then you do a couple of chords, and then
Yeah.
you change chords, and then. But then and then you learn a B chord or an F chord, and it's like, oh, that's too hard. And then, you know, and then so I'll just avoid those. I'll just do the BD or whatever, or
just give me the 4 basic chords, and I'll just be
yeah.
I won't be the I won't be the lead guitar. I'll be the rhythm guitar.
Yeah. But then I didn't really want to do that. So the guitar that I bought was a Spanish guitar.
Oh.
Like I bought it in Holland, and I brought it here too. So it's a Spanish guitar, or a classical guitar.
Yep.
Same idea, right? With the nylon strings.
Yep.
And it's a little bit shorter too, like the neck's shorter. So the 12th fret is actually at the body.
Oh.
Whereas you can see with that one too, there's 2 more frets.
Oh, yeah,
generally
yeah.
After the 12th.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a little bit shorter, but
See,
yeah. So I wanted to learn classical guitar or jazz guitar or something, not just
Yeah.
you know, like there's lots of people that can play rock guitar, and so
Yeah.
I'll do something different.
But see, there it is, right there. You're I don't know. You're a precision guy. Like you're very detailed there. You're like, so this one has like 2 more frets, and this one, and like that's just how that's how you are. Like you're detail oriented. You like to know how things work.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair?
And to some degree, yeah. Some things, yeah. Well, in detail work, because I also, and this is like after I started working too, but I had a video editing company.
Oh.
As well, and I did feel that I had a knack for it. Like I wanted to do everything. Like wanted to do, you know, the recording and because I do like cameras as well.
Yeah.
But I felt I really had a knack for the editing part, and especially the audio editing too, because that's you know, you learn very quickly that you can get away with a mistake in video. You cannot get away with a mistake in audio.
So that's why when we were testing here, you said audio's important.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's
very
where it
important.
comes from.
Well, because I mean, even if you watch a movie, like you're not staring at it the whole time. Like you look away. But as soon as there's a blip or something happens in the audio, you go, "Hey, what was that?"
I used to, when I taught at the college, as I know you did too, right, for a while, and I taught my students. I'd say we're doing live stream production, and I'd say, audio is way more important than video, because you can have 8K video and horrible audio, and people are gone. They're not watching. But you can have black and white blipping away and have amazing audio, and if they're interested in what's going on, they'll stick around, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where that comes. So so you did that? I didn't realize you did that.
Yeah, I did that.
That was just in the digital world,
part
or
of my
was that,
dad.
were you doing like the old film stuff?
Actually, funny thing is, the very first video I ever did.
I've never done that.
Wasn't like that. My dad did that. Like my dad was into video editing too.
You only get one chance.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, when he passed like a year and a half ago, or just over a year ago, we went through all that stuff. He had all his cameras still.
Is that
too.
right? Wow.
So like the initial cameras, it just looks like a little thing with a handle on it.
Yeah.
And it had so you bought the tape.
Yeah.
And the tape was 3 minutes. Like, you imagine, now you've got a phone where you can tape for hours. Like, we've been at it for what, an hour?
I've probably got
45 minutes
before that. Yeah, I probably got 5 or 6 hours of video just on my phone.
3 minutes.
I know.
So and then he got, you know, and of course you get a little bit better at it, and then you say, I want to have a better camera.
But that was the technology.
It was the technology. But so then he bought a camera where you could do slow motion. Well, the way to do slow motion on an actual real tape, you have to get the tape goes through it twice as fast, and then when you play it back, you play it back in normal time. It's slow motion. So if you were to do that, that 3 minute tape lasted a minute and a half.
Right. Yeah.
So he didn't really want to use it too often. Anyway, so he was really into that.
A little more selective on how you used your camera. I think, you know, like and you know, even the old cardboard box ones, remember, you know, like, I only got 40 in there, I only got 28, right? So I better make sure this is a good picture.
Yeah. So the very first video that I did myself was actually so my sister-in-law, Carolyn's younger sister's wedding. Her dad had bought a video camera. I didn't have one yet, and I said, I'll hold it, and you know, I'd like to get into this, and I'll do something with it. And so no tripod. I don't know what I was thinking, but I held the camera like this throughout the whole ceremony, and by the end, basically, I had to, you know, like it was all stuck, and and so I had the recording.
It was a weightlifting program.
Yeah, and so this was in when did they get married? 95.
Right.
Yeah, because Carolyn was pregnant of our first one. 95. So it was it was DV, I think. It was mini DV, or not mini DV, it was the bigger tape. So it was like digital, but it was all on tape still.
Yeah,
I didn't have a computer that was strong enough to do, like robust enough to do any editing. So I ended up having 2 video recorders. No, the camera and a video recorder, and did it like, because you have to do it in real time, right? Or in real time and linear. That's why then when you start going on computer editing, it's non-linear editing, because you can do, you can go back and do. Anytime I had to go back, everything that was after that had to be re-recorded.
Right.
Because it was all, so it was fun. And you get kind of, and then I wanted to do a...
People don't realize the time involved.
Oh my God.
Even on this thing, I mean, and now you use things that help you edit it, but like, even on that, like I have to go back and watch this whole interview, make sure and I'm going to pick out what I want to put in the description title, and did he say something he shouldn't have, or all that. You have to go through that, right? And that takes a lot of time.
Oh yeah.
Patience.
It does.
Taught me some patience.
Well, this is the funny part. Well, I wanted to do a title sequence, so we had we had a little photo frame that was like a pewter photo frame that I thought, that looks kind of neat. So I kind of wrote, I forget what it was, the beginning, and then some names, and the groom, bride, father of the bride, like the people that were involved in there, and then put that pewter frame on top. Then I had the camera angled down. This was in the we lived in at Nottingham Towers in the apartment.
Okay.
And I was by myself, and we had a bunch of foam core pieces, and so I put them all together like this, because in order to do background music, it had to be playing. Like I didn't have any way to record music. Like now, the people, especially kids, they have no idea what, well, you just get it off YouTube or
just steal it.
No. So I had to, and even that is probably not entirely legal, but the tape was going to stay within the family anyway. So I had the music playing really loud in the apartment. I made sure it was during the day, and I had this all lined up, and then the camera angled down, and I slid it across like that, basically in time to, like, at the end, and then stop the music, and it all worked out great, and I felt so satisfied with that. It's like I came up with how to do that, and like, so that was really cool. Like that's the kind of thing. Like I own no tools. I have a hammer and a drill. I think that's about it.
A
couple of screwdrivers.
Me too.
I can't work with my hands that way, but that kind of stuff I love. Figuring out.
I turn a light bulb to the left to put it in. Like, and it's so funny because my dad, he had, I have all of his tools. It was kind of the joke in the family but every one of those wrenches is left-handed.
Oh, really?
For me, when it comes to me, like so. But I mean, I think for me it was the patience thing. I just I want something built and I want it now, and all that sort of stuff. But
I don't really enjoy that either. Like I can sit in front of that computer. Once we did get the non-linear editing, and I spent so much money on good equipment, and then hours and hours and hours. So I started doing weddings. And I feel bad now, and I can say this, like I apologize to every client I ever had, because I took way too long with it, because I wanted it to be good. Perfect. Right? Like
somebody's wedding.
That's right. Like, and I put my name on that too. Like I had my company's name, and I felt like if it's a Rolling Waves video production, it's like I have to be happy with that sitting on somebody's shelf. So, but I know that. Most people aren't that picky with it. They would have rather just say, okay, after 2 months I'd like to see it now. Some of them took a year.
I do some of that still for companies and stuff and local businesses, and one I did, it just took me like 6 months. It's like digital. But it was a lot of technical issues. Something I wanted. I mean, a lot of stuff I do, I had it right on my phone, but there's still something to be said for doing it on desktop and a big screen and to see all the details.
When did I start this? Like.
So
I started at the fire hall at 94.
Yeah.
And I think it was like early 2000.
Yeah.
That I started doing this.
Cool. Well, let's get to the fire hall. I mean, wow, there's I mean, I think I should just do a 4-hour documentary on Roel Bus. And maybe we will. But yeah, so 94. So how did that transition, like?
Well,
180 right there.
It just happened. Sometimes it's a bit like, I understand that there are kids that have had the dream for years and want to become a firefighter, and so I never really thought about it until I came here, and then so I moved after the co-op and everything, and then the trip we did. We decided to get married. We got married in Holland in '92, and then moved here. So, I tried to get a job in well, nature conservation first, but that's when I kind of found out that it doesn't really exist here. It's like nature's over there; it handles
if you want to
itself.
stay
We
over
don't
there,
need to do don't need to do anything about it. So, I mean, simply put. But and environmental things are a little bit different. Like I did look at, there was the big river cleanup thing was going on at the time. Right. So, and I applied at a lot of different places, and it didn't really pan out. So, worked at some different things, and then the fire department was hiring, and it was Carolyn's sister who said, "Oh, you should, that's a great job." And I'm like, "Yeah, it kind of is." So I just tried it, like you're one of 1,000 I think it was like 750 or something.
Wow.
Applicants at the time, and
you got in.
Somehow so like I kind of was wondering about this interview too, right? Like if you ask, like if you could describe yourself in one word, like I would say lucky. Yeah. Because that's like it's not something I worked for at the time, but then once I got in, and
timing's everything too. I mean,
it is. I guess so.
I mean, and,
for some reason, they saw something
your
in
background.
In me, and
something must have clicked.
Something must have clicked.
They never told you, eh?
No, it's a long time ago.
We're hiring you
now.
Because so then the rest is history, kind of, so to speak.
Yeah, I started in October of '94.
Yeah.
With two other people, and it was great. It was actually learned a lot. It was a bit of a culture shock, obviously, if you're into
the training. I would think would be pretty intense.
It was.
There's that learning thing. You had to force yourself again?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and I mean, that's, I think, see that a little bit different, because it's part of the job that you're doing, that you chose to do, and so that learning went pretty well, I think, and a lot of it was on the job. Like we didn't have we had like 2 weeks with the training officer initially, and then we were right on the trucks at that time, because the fire school, so the Ontario Fire College, was in Gravenhurst.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, we didn't have, like, Hampton College has quite a program now, right? But
they do, yeah. They didn't have what they have now, and back then it was like essentially primarily industrial firefighting.
Yeah.
So, but the fire college had the recruit course, was an 8-week recruit course. Like most people, I think the people that were hired just before me were still there. But they just canceled that course because, first of all, most departments weren't hiring, and the ones that were hiring did their own training. So, so we did in-house, and then we ended up the three of us that got hired at the same time, and then the one guy got hired in January of '95. We started in April of '95 in London.
Oh wow!
So London had London had just amalgamated with Westminster, what's the other one there? Lambeth, and then Byron, something like that. So three. So they basically amalgamated those three, and the volunteer firefighters that wanted to, or some of them that wanted to become firefighters in London, were part of that class too. Like there was a recruit in there that was 51 years old.
Wow.
So he's unfortunately no longer with us because yeah. Anyway, so we went to London for 8 weeks, back and forth every day, and it was good, and just progressed through.
Yeah, you progressed through and
things,
then,
and started drive. Back then, you couldn't drive until. No, that's not true. That's now. I started driving pretty well. Yeah.
But that career, class. I mean, at least you sort of touched on it. Like everybody's dream as a kid, like it was like you want to be a fireman, policeman, doctor, lawyer. Those are the things, right? And then and then to not have that on your mind, and then just sort of be able to be in the right place, the right time, or somebody push you to apply. And you're kind of like, well, what the heck? We'll see what happens, and then to turn it into basically your lifetime career.
Yeah, it was quite something. It's, I mean, it's the people you work with. It's definitely is a brotherhood.
For sure.
You know,
for
there's
sure.
there obviously there's like work dynamic is.
And I know you still stay connected to. I think I saw
now,
a picture. You get
Yep.
together and have
often
kind of hangout sessions and lunches and.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, the thing is, it's there are certain type of people, I guess. So there's definitely some teasing going on, and the background and all that comes into play. So yeah, you learn to thicken your skin a little bit.
Well, and then you got into the end,
it.
I guess. I don't know the exact title, but you're community based.
Yeah. So I was part of the crew, on the trucks, as they say, for 18 years.
Yeah.
I was an acting captain. I would have become a captain. I think it was the second one on the list at that time, and then. There had been an opportunity before that I didn't get, but so at that time it was an opportunity to go into the fire prevention division.
Right.
And I do remember thinking about it and thinking, yeah, you know what? I think I can do that. I think that's something that I would like to learn. And again, it's more learning again, quite a bit of learning. So, it's more like learning's fine. It's the practicing that's, trying to keep up with it and stuff. But anyway. So I remember driving home from a basketball game, like our kids were into sports, and driving home from a basketball game thinking that it was like I was potentially going to be called for the next position, because you kind of know when a position comes up. Somebody had decided that they wanted to go back on the floor, so there was an opening, and then you're on the list, and they start, they call, basically, So and I. Carolyn and I were talking about it on the way home, and by the time I got home, I was like, yeah, if that phone call comes, I'm going to say yes. I don't have to think about it, because like that's what we did. We just kind of rattled through it, and and it was great, because that was really, and I thought actually at the time that I wanted to become the educator, because there's a dedicated educator position as well. And the guy that was in there was Tom Marshall. I think you probably know him too. He was still going to be there another 2 years, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. I started in the summer of 2012 is when I became a fire prevention officer. So by the time he retired, I was like, I like all the other things too. Like, it's a very versatile job. Like, you're doing some educating.
Right.
You're doing code enforcement. You're doing you're educating the public, but you're also educating homeowners and business owners, apartment building, dwellers.
And it's a CO alarm, not a CO2 alarm.
That's right. That's right.
And you know how I know that? You only make that mistake once, and then you'll never forget it.
It's CO2 is not nearly as dangerous as CO, but it's good. I really enjoyed that. And I felt that working with the group and I do feel, and I've been told this too, so I guess I can share that.
Sure.
That I feel that we've brought the two, because it was it can be. Kind of two different worlds, the suppression division, the prevention division.
Oh, I see.
Like, we were by some people called the fire avoidance guys.
Okay. Right. Oh.
Yeah.
You brought the two together, and
I think I brought I kind of bridged that gap a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a little, and that's fine. They're two different jobs too, but we all work towards the same goal, and I think that really. And it goes both ways. It's not just the people that are fighting the fire saying, "Oh, these guys are just sitting up in their office with a pen and a clipboard," and so it's also like our division really thinking about how can we make these buildings better in case there is a fire safer for our firefighters, not just
and regulations
safer.
with the province. And
so the regulations are to keep the people safe, right? Like we cannot not have a smoke alarm in our house because it's the law now, and it's really like it's a safety thing. It's kind of funny that you have to make a law, but I mean, here we are.
You'd think it'd be common sense, but we're talking about people here.
Yeah, but in the time that I was there and the people that I worked with, great guys that I worked with, were also really focused because we all came from the floor. Like it's a bit of a different situation in Sarnia where you have to have, like you come from the floor,
right?
From the trucks, like from the suppression division.
Which
so
kind of makes
Sarnia
sense
doesn't
to
hire.
do it that way.
Yeah. Well, there's two schools of thoughts, and I understand both. Like I understand, going after university or going to a school like Seneca and doing a full 3 years.
Sure.
Just on codes and systems and that, and you have all that knowledge. But that's kind of what I was getting at. They are making buildings safe for the people that live in it. Whereas if you come on the floor, like all of us did, you start thinking about the safety of your firefighters too. Right? Like you have to make sure that all the facilities that are there for the firefighters to help fight the fire. Like for instance, if you're in an apartment building, there's throughout the building with a connection on the front door, let's say, where you can hook hoses on the truck and then pressurize that system inside. So all you got to do is bring 50 feet of hose inside, or maybe 100, and then hook to that system and fight, an apartment fire on the 18th floor.
Oh, I never
with
thought
your
about
100,
that.
you don't have to drag hose all the way through that building. So, and those kind of things are mandatory, but like we want to make sure that there's a sign up there for the firefighters to find that connection.
Well,
easily.
every building would be different.
Yeah. And like I said, some of these things are legislated, but when you've been in that position, you've been in that.
Sure, you think it a little differently.
You'd like, okay, well, we need to make sure that they know where it is, and doors are labeled, and just make it as easy as possible when they're in a situation at 3 o'clock in the morning. There's not a lot of time to think. It just has to be easy. So that was a big part of our
I can tell you, and I got to start wrapping up, believe it or not, and we're just getting to the fire department thing. We'll have to come back and do some more, but I talked about you behind your back a little bit before I got here today. Do my little research. What about that Roel guy? We know some mutual people, and I can confirm what you're saying about the thoughts of some people that you've worked with that said how you did well at bringing things together, and there's difference of opinions on things, but that's good, right? Mm-hmm. But especially, I feel anyway that there's so much we take for granted in our community, and honestly, you always hear about the police. You don't always hear about the fire, and unless it's affected you directly. And mm-hmm. I think our Sarnia Fire Rescue, or Fire and Rescue in general, is kind of the unsung heroes, unless there's a major disaster or something. But we take for granted, you hear the fire truck and we go, oh yeah. And until you live near a fire hall, you don't realize just how busy they are. Yeah. So thank you for your service in that. And I'm sorry we're out of time because I'm really enjoying this, but I've got to wrap it up. And you're keeping busy though. Is Carolyn, since you retired, has she got a list going for you? Or?
No, we are certainly not those people. No, and I know she's saying it to me, but also to other people, like how she feels like I've kind of got into this retirement thing pretty smoothly. And I knew there was enough things that I want to do. There's more things that I want to do, but sometimes it's just like I just want to sit and read a book and not feel guilty about it.
That's doing something, though.
It is,
You're learning.
I suppose. I really what I started doing is looking after myself immediately. I went to the gym, hired a personal trainer, so I do that twice a week. I go for a walk every day, and even when I don't really, like this morning, was like, I don't know if I want to go. And then I went out, and actually the sun started.
That's when you need to go.
And so I go every day. Play some tennis. Actually, I'll be leaving in an hour for tennis today. Tennis, pickleball, other things, and
You're keeping the brain going. You're keeping the body moving. So
I have some other ideas too of things that I want to do. I might get back into some video editing as well, like not make it a business, but I always really enjoyed, and you know, when you see the end result, if you're happy with it, you're like, it really makes you happy, you know, like you see this,
This is simple what I'm doing. I do one shot here, but I get it. I've done some other stuff. Thank you so much for welcoming me into your home, and I'm sorry we don't.
It's been great.
I want to talk more. This has just been great. But thanks to all of you for watching, and you know what I'm going to say. If you're watching on social media, make sure you click the share button so we can share Roel's story and everybody else that's here. And if you're watching on your TV Sarnia, make sure you tell somebody about this and let them know that we're here and talking to the local people in our community. But right now, that's all the time we got for you this week. Have a great week and an even better weekend. We'll see you next time right here on the show. Bye for now.
Thank you.